HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
The immigration crackdown continues. Good evening, everyone. I'm Chris Saunders.
And I'm Charisma Robinson. Immigration officers held surprise spot checks in downtown stores and in the straw market today as efforts continue to crack down on illegal immigration. As Foreign Carry reports, a number of people were also taken to the detention center to allow immigration authorities to check their status.
Immigration officers canvassed the downtown straw market, questioning workers and the operators of numerous stores as they conducted surprise spot checks. Officer in charge of the enforcement unit, Kirkland Neely, said the initiative is all in an effort to ensure that foreign nationals working in those establishments have the proper documentation.
We want to show to the public and the world that nobody is above the law, okay? And if you believe that we need to status check and Haitian areas and stuff like that and shantytown stuff, you have a new thing coming, okay? The law is now passed that we have the right to charge the employer and the employee. And so if we found that infraction being taken place this morning, you could bet your last bottom dollar that both of them will be hauled before the court and charged. The new laws, I think, is that we could charge the employer $10,000 or 5 years imprisonment or both. And we intend to carry that out to the land and bread of the Bahamas.
Immigration officers took a number of people to waiting buses and then to the detention center. Neely said that if the detainees are found to be working illegally, both the worker and their employer will be charged. Neely noted that a number of people have already been charged before the courts for harboring illegal immigrants.
We also charge a Bahamian for assisting and hiding illegals. Okay, and as we find, and we also put the captains before we were able to identify 2 captains, Haitian sloops, and they were charged. They went before the court, and so this is an ongoing thing. We will not stop until we rid the Bahamas of illegal, or try to do our best and send a message to the employees that you must hire Bahamians or people with legal status in the country.
I'd say big, powerful people, bring these people, hire them. And they only attack the small man. And I'm happy to see the small and immigration is not selective in who they pick up.
Foreign Carry, ZNS Network News.
Last week they were in the Yellow Elder community, and this week they turned their attention to Kemp Road. This is an area that has had its share of crime recently. Senior and junior officers, along with Marines attached to various urban renewal areas, banded together today to systematically walk through Kemp Road to make their presence felt. Jimenita Swain tells us that this is an ongoing police plan that is expected to move into other communities.
It was a call to see greater police visibility in various communities that drew them there, and police answered the call in Kemp Road on Tuesday. Senior officers accompanied by junior officers and Marines from the Royal Bahamas Defense Force moved through Kemp Road to make their presence felt. It's something residents in the area say they were happy to see. 81-year-old Daniel Johnson said he's lived in Kemp Road for 25 years, and he says police should be in the area more often.
Problem from the boys in the neighborhood, but like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, the stranglers come by and they bow, 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 you know. But the regular boys don't give no problem.
Children on summer break took a moment to play around under a cool tree. Another longtime resident, Sabrina Cooper, said the community is a close-knit one, but she too appreciates the presence of police.
We don't have no activities for kids in the area. You know, it's a lot of children, over 200-300 children, no activities. Nothing for the kids to do. And then we have the field right there. We need someone to help us and construct the field. It's not see all them little children, nothing to do.
Police officers went house to house speaking with residents. 54-year-old Emmett Mackey was just as elated to see the police presence.
I'm glad it can't be greater. The reason why I say it can't be greater, like what they really have to do, like move to the community more often. So when they move to the community more often, their presence is felt. So then we know when they coming or when they ain't coming, but we know they trafficking through.
Assistant Commissioner of Police Stephen Dean says similar concerns have been echoed by residents.
And one of the things that keep coming out, that these are close-knitted communities. Oftentimes they see persons who don't live in the community, come in the community, who might have committed criminal acts in other communities, but they come just try to mix among the persons here. So they become targets of other criminals. And so the young men in this area get blamed, and sometimes they fall to be victims of these persons. Other persons are talking about gunshots late at night. They continue to hear gunshots late at night. So that is something that we are addressing. Others that they want the police to do more of this.
ACP Dean said the community visits will continue until police reduce the fear of crime. Jiminita Swain, ZNS Network News.
The murder trial of Judson Mackey and Tristan DeVoe continued with several witnesses taking the stand. Among them, testimony via video link from forensic expert Michael Martinez of Bexar County Crime Lab. Martinez testified that his lab received 2 samples for gunshot residue testing, one labeled Tristan DeVoe and the other Judson Mackey. After analysis, Martinez testified that the sample for DeVoe contained 5 microscopic particles, while the sample for Mackey contained 1. Martinez's analysis concluded that both Mackey and DeVoe either discharged a firearm, handled a firearm, or was in close proximity to a firearm being discharged. The 2 are accused of killing Shanrio DeVoe 2 years ago. The Crown's case is led by Anthony Delaney, and Justice Carolito Bethel is presiding over the matter.
More than 800 education ministers, delegates, and stakeholders are in the country for the 19th Conference of Commonwealth Ministers, Education Ministers that is, being held at the Atlantis Resort this week. The conference is being held under the theme Quality Education for Equitable Development, Performance, Paths, and Productivity. It also allows stakeholders to chart the way forward in education for Commonwealth countries. Cleopatra Murphy spoke with conference officials ahead of its opening by Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie tonight.
Convener of the Commonwealth Teachers Forum, Christine Blower, says countries across the globe missed out on the United Nations Millennium Development Goal of ensuring that every child has access to primary education by 2015, but she adds that officials are still pushing the overall agenda. Blower says part of the forum's mandate is to press education ministers and other government heads to keep a high focus on education. This was a challenge issued at the 19th Conference of Commonwealth Education Ministers Tuesday morning, but there are challenges.
Across the world, we're about 4 million teachers short to be able to make sure that every child actually gets even primary education.
Acknowledging that governments face economic and budgetary constraints, Blower says investments in education must remain a priority because without an educated populace, the economy suffers.
We have seen some successes. Clearly, more children are accessing education. It's just that our job is to go home from this conference with our statement, take it to all our home governments and say, you're absolutely responsible for making sure that we secure the future of an educated population across the Commonwealth.
Blower attended the last conference in Mauritius, and although the local conference is in the early phase, she believes it will end positively. On the agenda is addressing productivity and ensuring young people are equipped for 21st century success.
We'll be looking at how we can use information communication technology in our schools to assist the teaching and learning. Can never replace teachers. Every class needs a teacher, but we must make sure that we're using all the technology we can.
A high point, she says, was a communication from Education Minister the Honourable Jerome Fitzgerald, who shared that an agreement has been signed to ensure continuing professional development for teachers locally. Blower says she would like to see similar commitments to the educational development of teachers globally.
Absolutely critical, because obviously, things change. A teaching career can last 30 years. You can't expect someone who comes in to still be doing the same thing at the end of a 30-year career. So our job, we see in the teachers' unions, is to make sure that we work with government.
Blower adds that proper dialogue between educators and government is necessary when education policy is made because teachers see the impact of those policies daily. Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
This portion of the news is brought to you by the new Shell and Letty, designed for extra miles.